Good evening, you're watching Breaking Views. I'm Rishika Barwa. An eminent Odissi dancer, a Padma Awardee, 90-year-old Guru Mayadhar Raut has been evicted from his government home. His belongings were thrown out on the street. His Padma Award was seen lying on the roadside. He lived in this home for 25 years. All of this is being done as a part of an eviction drive by the Government of India against several artists like Guru Mayadhar who were allotted government accommodation. The Government of India has cancelled an allotment of government accommodation of around 28 artists. Now, this cancellation happened back in 2014 when the Modi government came to power. 6 years later, in 2020, the Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry issued eviction notices to the artists. The same year, the artists approached the court. They lost the case this year in February. On February 25th, the court set a deadline of April the 25th for eviction. Now, some of these artists have matters that are still pending before the Delhi High Court, appeals that are still pending before the Delhi High Court. Now, according to the government's policy, what is this policy under which they were allotted accommodation in the first place? Well, according to the government policy, up to 40 artists can be allotted accommodation under a special quota on the recommendation of the Culture Ministry. The allotment is only for those who now earn less than 20,000 rupees a month. According to a report in the Wire, a senior government official has said that out of the 28 artists who were served eviction notices, there are around 8 who are yet to vacate government accommodation. The others have complied. So this eviction, as we've been pointing out, has been done by the book and is completely legal. The question, however, that we're asking tonight is this the manner in which it should have been done? Is the manner in which we are treating the elderly, ailing artists justified? Is this how we ought to do it? What happens to policies and institutions? There are several in place to conserve other parts of our cultural heritage like monuments. What happens to these artists and where are we really to go now? Where are their families to go now? And also the other question, what is the kind of message that it sends out to many who may want to go ahead and pursue the arts? Well, joining us on NDTV, we have Madhumita Raut. She is Guru Mayadhar Raut's daughter. She's also a Kuchipudi dancer. Thank you very much for being with us. I also want to introduce on the show Prateek Shom, an advocate of the Supreme Court. His views lean towards the BJP. We have several other artists who are also facing eviction notices. They'll be joining us in just a bit. But Madhumita, I want to begin by talking to you. It has been an incredibly difficult time, I can understand. Can you take us through what exactly happened that day?
See, I'm not questioning government's decision to evict us or to keep us. Okay, we are law-abiding citizens and we will go as per the verdict of the court, honorable court. My objection is on the way they treated my father. They didn't give us any prior notice. They just barged in. I was serving lunch to my father. I requested them to wait for 10 minutes and they said in black and white straight, हमारे पास 2 मिनट भी नहीं है, आप निकलिए, ताला लगाना है. This is no way to treat a person who is 90 years old and suffering from several diseases. इस तरह से तो आप नहीं कर सकते हैं. I requested them to wait. I pleaded. नहीं माने वो सामान. I was speaking to them and all these 12-15 laborers, they just barged in and there was police force. They treated us like criminals. The things were taken away and they were put तोड़ रहे थे सामान and they were put on road. And when I said टूट गया, so they're saying eviction में ऐसा होता है. ये this is heartless, this is cruel, this is inhuman, this is highly insensitive and this is inhuman in my eyes. Doing this to a person who is 90 years old, above 90 actually, and who has served, dedicated himself entirely to serve the cause of Odissi. When he started learning Odissi and teaching Odissi, it was called regional dance. He brought it to the status of classical. He has not earned a penny. He has no bank balance. He doesn't own an inch of land anywhere in this universe. Now is the time when he needs support from the government, from various agencies. You talk about tangible and intangible dance. You put it on, United Nations aided websites. But in reality, what is there? It's all in paper. How are you treating your senior artists? What is the cultural policy? And why can't the state support the dying art forms and the senior artists? Moreover, what about the dignity of an artist? Our constitution talks about every citizen to be treated with dignity. Where is the dignity of an artist? And if the accommodation was cancelled in 2014, then why were we not told about it? Why did they wait till 2020?
All right. Well, we also have with us Indian classical dancer Bharti Shivaji. She is among those who has also been served this particular notice. And Madhumita, thank you very much for sharing your story. You've really spoken from the heart. And like I said at the very outset, the question we're asking on the show tonight is not the legality of what has happened, but the manner in which it has happened. And like Madhumita was pointing out,
yes.
Her father, who's 90 years old, was eating his meal. He wasn't even given a chance to finish eating his meal. Here's an individual, revered, respected, we call him Guru. Is this how you're supposed to treat a Guru? It is indeed very sad, and I thank you for sharing that story with us. Bharti Shivaji, you are among those who has been served an eviction notice as well. Can you take us through what's happening right now?
In fact, quite a few times we were reminded about this, that we'll have to vacate the house. But then we always appealed to the government, and the government was very kind enough to extend it all these years. And that is how we were able to continue our creative activities. But now, all of a sudden, this kind of a treatment to eminent artists, particularly a senior guru like Mayadhar Raut, from whom great artists, senior artists have all learned under his tutelage. And this is very, very inhuman what happened, because I was a witness to it. And also I was warned that it will happen to me if I don't vacate the house soon. And I would like to say a few words about my contribution to Mohiniyattam. At a time when there were no takers for this dance form in the 70s, I was offered under a fellowship scheme to go to Kerala and do research in Mohiniyattam by none other than Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, who was then the chairman of Sangeet Nataka Academy. She offered me this project. So it was a wonderful, fulfilling, so many challenges in bringing it to public view, and also create an awareness and a repertoire, a format, and a proper methodology, and bringing in a lot of innovations. So I've spent my entire life in that. And I'm very happy and proud to say that today the present generation of Mohiniyattam dancers, we have so many of them who are taking up Mohiniyattam seriously. And so I'm very happy about it.
Okay.
But when this privilege was given to us, this facility, I won't even call it a privilege, it's a facility provided to us to continue our creative work and propagate our classical dance forms. And but suddenly this kind of a treatment has put me off guard. I just don't know, it has just shocked the entire, and also when we were...
Does it in a certain sense... Subhasini Ali is also with us. She's a former Lok Sabha member of Parliament from the CPIM. Subhasini Ali, does this in a certain sense reflect some kind of a change in attitude or value that you accord to artists?
So just reading about this case, and I saw that up till 2014, just automatically the lease or the tenancy used to be renewed, and the people who were staying in these places of residence, they were allowed to continue to stay. And then things changed in 2014. So that's a big question as to why did they change in 2014. And now the way in which we saw this tragic eviction of this very senior, venerable gentleman whom we all know, anybody who has anything to do with the arts. It's Raut ji, who actually, has served Odissi and has been guru to so many great Odissi dancers. Dagar ji, whose family has kept alive the Drupad tradition. So the point is that these are just not individuals who have been given a place to stay by the government, but these are repositories of a cultural tradition.
Right.
And it's a very, very valuable cultural tradition. They have spent their entire lives preserving this tradition and communicating it to people. And so they should be treated like you treat national treasures. They're not just tenants, they are national treasures. You don't have people like this. You don't have artists like this almost anywhere else in the world.
I need to make a point, please.
Who continue with this Guru Shishya tradition.
Okay. I know, Madhumita Raut, I know you want to come in, but allow me a moment and let me also get in another side of the story. PKD Nambiar, political analyst, his views lean towards the BJP, is also with us on the broadcast. Prateek Som will lend a legal perspective on this as well. PKD Nambiar, isn't it just incredibly sad? And like I said at the very outset, we're not questioning these notices or the fact that this was done illegally or anything. It's just extremely sad to see a 90-year-old guru, we call him guru, to be treated in the manner that he was. And several other artists who are facing eviction notices, several others who've complied and left.
Rishika, well, I do sympathize for the guru who had given his life for the art and our culture of our country, and the way it has been treated is absolutely not the right way. But of course, some of our officials may not be a stand of a government that to ill-treat a guru like him. The problem is that, but you need to also understand, there is no any government accommodation is not permanent for anyone. Can you just imagine that few months ago, Sharad Yadav, one of the veteran
nobody's questioning that
country who had spent a lot of time to this thing, he had been asked to go. Today is the day, like for an example, in A.K. Antony, who was the former defense minister, he is vacating his house and leaving. So it is, you cannot have a permanent government facility forever. And I think both in terms of legally and even
nobody's asking that.
They're two different things. See, an MP's residence is for an MP.
May I make my point?
Yeah.
So my point is simply this, that I think the way it has been treated, you can all definitely question. But if you really recall in this 2014 onwards, that means 8 years.
Because like Subhasini Ali was pointing out that these are not privileges, these are facilities that are provided, and usually the manner in which it works is that it's extended. What is the change in thinking? No.
Some of the kin of these gurus who are extremely doing very well for themselves, they are doing vocationally in their vocation, whether working with multinational companies.
I have to intervene. I have to interject.
Okay.
I have performance.
Madhumita Raut, respond to that.
I must make a point.
All right, make your point.
No. Listen, hello. Don't paint everybody. No. First of all, it is not a political
PKD Nambiar, you've made your point. You've made your point. Let Madhumita respond. Madhumita?
I have to respond. Please don't paint all the artists with the same brush, number one. Number two, my father has always been teaching in the tradition of Guru Shishya Parampara, where he has never earned a penny. He doesn't own a single, just not even an inch of land anywhere in this universe. He has 3,000 rupees in his bank balance. What kind of commercial success has he had? Nothing. This is the time when he needs support from the society and from the government. This is the time he needs governmental support, not when he was 50 or 60, now at the age of 90. He's a national treasure. What is our duty towards old, aging, sick, senior artists, Padma Awardees? What is the duty of the state, please?
PKD Nambiar?
सब नहीं पैसे कमाते हैं सारे artists. Classical artists are not
living
in penury.
Your point, PKD Nambiar, on the fact that there are several artists who may no longer need these government facilities is well taken, but this is clearly not one of those cases. As Madhumita is pointing out, this is not one of those cases.
I'm saying that government cannot look at each cases as a separate one. One thing is
but
very
there surely
clear.
has to be a basis, no?
I'm just telling you the basis. I'm telling you some
what
people.
comes with Padma Award? What comes with Padma Award?
So every Padma awardees will be
What
given
comes?
a
No medical insurance, no pension, nothing. Where do the artists go?
Everybody will be given a house.
They have no retiremental benefits.
So every Rajya Sabha member or a Lok Sabha member.
No artist gets any retiremental benefits.
There are hundreds of examples of people who have vacated their house as soon as their periods are over. For an example, a chief secretary or a secretary
Those
of
who can, they will.
They are not an eminent people. They should be. They have
chief
to
secretary bureaucrat के साथ artist को मिला रहे हैं.
When you talk about it, there is nothing. No government accommodation can be a permanent
कौन सा
one.
retirement benefits मिलता है कलाकार को?
Neither.
No, what are the retirement benefits an artist gets?
No, who is telling you? Is it only you need to have a posh South Delhi city fort accommodation for an artist? It is not necessary.
Nobody asked.
But nobody asked for that, no?
We
were given that. I think that's very unfair.
Ready to touch it with
That's
the
very unfair. That's very unfair. You provide them. No, one second. I want to make a limited point here. I want to make a limited point here. If you ought to give fair treatment, okay, then why not there be a relocation plan? If you don't want to give posh South Delhi homes, don't give posh South Delhi homes. Say under the policy of the Ministry of Culture now, the new policy is that you will be relocated to place XYZ.
In 1980s, there was no electricity, there was no water. Then they gave us to artists.
I have to also say, I asked Madhumita at the beginning of the show. I asked Madhumita at the beginning of the show for how long her father has lived in this house. He has lived here for 25 years ago. 25 years ago, South Delhi was not what it is today. So that point, I'm sorry, is
Asian
really,
Games wasn't.
Is really not meant. No, it's really not meant for these. And like we're saying, who's going to take care of these elderly artists who have spent their lives preserving our cultural heritage? I also have
Delhi, कोई भी दिल्ली में हमें दे देते.
Okay. I also have Guru V, Jayarama Rao and Vanashri Rao with us on the broadcast. Welcome. Thank you for being with us on NDTV. I'm going to come to you in just a moment, but Prateek Som has been listening very patiently. Prateek Som, all of this has been done. There are still appeals that are pending in certain cases with the Delhi High Court. What more can be done from a policy standpoint, from a legal standpoint, in order to at least be able to avoid this kind of treatment being given to those who have spent their life preserving and nurturing the arts?
With deepest respect to artists and their families, I must mention that when the policies for accommodation to eminent persons is prepared, there are some timelines for which the allotment takes place. Now, if we see this particular case, the allotment dates back to 25-30 years where these eminent persons, artists have stayed. And this impugned notification, which has been challenged in the court, is of 2008, pre-NDA government, I suppose. And they went into the court, they lost their case, court orders eviction. They go to the single bench of Delhi High Court which stayed that, which listened to their case, and then they also dismissed that. Then they go for review in the division bench, that is double bench of Delhi High Court. That has also been dismissed. And now they plan to, again file a review with Acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court. So basically we have
this eviction took place before the review petition.
See, this is not a way to debate. Let me at least make my point.
Okay, so make your point, Madhumita Rao. I'll give you a chance to respond. Madhumita ji, I'll give you a chance to respond. Let him make his point. I'll give you a chance to rebut. Make your point, Prateek.
That when the people's representatives like Member of Parliament or even President of India or Prime Minister of India are given official accommodations, they have to vacate the very day when they demits the office. And the eminent artists and other eminent persons, they have been staying here for 25 years. Now the point that the honorable artist face this kind of treatment by the authorities, we also have to ponder upon that there is a certain way where the government executive
But Prateek Som, you can't compare artists with government executives, can you? Is that even a fair comparison to make?
No, you have to understand that.
Subhasini Ali, do you want to come in here? No, we have a former MP on the panel. Let her weigh in. We have a former member of parliament on the panel.
1 minute.
There is a process by which
An MP gets accommodation as an MP.
Okay, Prateek Som, you had your say. Let Subhasini Ali respond. I'm just asking if it's a fair comparison. I take your point, Prateek Som, but is it a fair comparison?
It's not, because as an MP, we get accommodation for as long as we're an MP. When we stop being an MP, then obviously we have to vacate because we're not an MP anymore. Now, these people have been given accommodation because they are artists. And because they are artists of a particular kind, they are artists who are not just commercially purveying their art, but they are actually teaching.
Yes.
Yeah.
And therefore, they have not stopped doing it.
Correct.
It's not like
Yes.
an MP has stopped being an MP.
Correct.
And so
And
you give up the
like it was
accommodation.
explained.
They're continuing to do whatever they were given that accommodation for. So I just think it would have been gracious on the part of the government to have gone into this
Yes.
and allowed them to
And
stay
like
for a
Bharti
few
Shivaji
years.
also said that, you know, this is a Guru-Shishya relationship. This art form is carried on. There's no transaction of money necessarily that happens when you carry on an art form. You know, we also have Guru Jayarama Rao. He's a Kuchipudi dancer, and Vanashri Rao with us. Let me go across to them.
If not making point, then we are not going to join.
Ma'am,
Because
also-
it's like a children's fight. You people are fighting like children, and we don't like it.
Okay,
If you really want
I
to listen to
apologize
us,
for keeping
then
you
just-
waiting, ma'am. Please
No,
go ahead
I'm
and make
sorry.
your point.
This is not the way we fight with the political members, Mr. Nambiar. I respect them, and I think we are all children of this country. And there are certain points we need to discuss and not fight like cats and dogs on a news channel like this.
Please go ahead and
If
make
you
your
want to
points,
listen
ma'am.
to me, I can tell it. Otherwise, I am not going to talk.
Ma'am, please
But
go
my
ahead and
husband
make your
is
point.
Also not going to talk. Okay.
Ma'am, please go
Oh,
ahead
give
and make
me-
your point.
Give me 2 minutes, then I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I am not talking about sentiments. I am not talking about how educated I am. That I was an ex-lecturer of LSR political science. I left it to join dance. Dance, art forms are a passion for which I did not think that I will become like Aditya Birla or Tata Birla or, earn money. And our trust was always in the government, always with the culture, always with the urban, that they are thinking that they should respect this art. But with the recent developments, we have felt that we are not actually in that realm of respect anymore. Maybe things have changed, I don't know. But my point is that we are not thinking we are staying in Asiad village, we should go to Munirka or to, some Narela or some. If government helps us to find an alternate accommodation, we are happy to go to Narela. What all we want to do is only to continue our art and to teach. And the question that multinational companies, dancers are earning money, I would like Mr. Nambiar to name that artist and to look at our income tax return and to see that how we promote our students, how we do all these things, because it is a passion. Just like politics is a passion for you. And you think that that is the last thing that you are doing, just like that. It is not for personal benefit or sentiments or anything, but yes, like a family of togetherness, we did expect that the government, when the legislature and the urban and the culture minister refused to meet us, then only we went to the judiciary as the last hope. We never wanted a confrontation. And if gracefully and dignified way, you people don't think that we deserve anything, because in the tweets people are writing, we are squatters, we have not paid rents, we don't pay electricity bill, we don't pay water bill, which are all rubbish. I can show you our rent receipts that we are regularly paying. So consider this, if you respect us, and if you have some kind of respect for the art forms, just like our government goes abroad and says our artists are our treasures. What treasure we are? We don't even have a roof, and you give Olympic medal winner 37 crore, land, home, everything, and for a Padma ko bhul jaiye. Padma bhul jaiye, Padma ko jaiye raaste mein. Lekin to survive also.
Guru Jayarama, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I want to say a few things. When I came to Delhi, see, 1968, I came to Delhi. Delhi was entirely different atmosphere. But why I came to Delhi? Because my art form, especially my art form, मेरे को develop करना है क्योंकि नॉर्थ इंडिया में, क्योंकि साउथ इंडियन डांस सब घर घर में जानते हैं, बट नॉर्थ इंडिया में मेरे को इवन अदर गुरुस आल्सो, दे आल्सो केम 50-60 years बैक एंड सेटल्ड इन दिल्ली, बिकॉज हमारा कल्चर जो है, इंडियन कल्चर जो है, उसको यहाँ नॉर्थ इंडिया में एंड दिल्ली में डेवलप करने के लिए हम लोग आया. आई वॉज जस्ट 22 years that time. So I came to Delhi and I घर जाके मैंने सिखाना शुरू किया. फिर बाद में थोड़ा सा रिकग्निशन मिला. उसके बाद हम अपना आर्ट को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हमने काफी काम किया, क्योंकि दिस इज नॉट पॉलिटिक्स. Artists are not from any political parties. We are artists, you know. And after that, Government of India बाहर हमको आर्टिस्ट को परफॉर्मेंस करने के लिए बाहर कंट्रीज को भेजते हैं. वी आर गोइंग, वी वांट टू ब्रिंग नेम एंड फेम फॉर कंट्री, राइट, यू नो, फेम एंड कंट्री, नॉट ओनली लाइक स्पोर्ट्स पीपल. हम भी काफी काम किया.
नहीं, स्पोर्ट्स पीपल भी नाम लाते हैं.
सॉरी, स्पोर्ट्स पीपल भी नाम लाते हैं, but all the facilities are there getting. Why not we?
तेलंगाना गवर्नमेंट ने अभी 1 करोड़ रुपया लैंड पद्मा अवार्डीज को दिया. हमें एक नया पैसा भी चाहिए. हमें सिर्फ एक रूफ चाहिए.
एक मिनट,
I'm afraid I'm incredibly sorry for interrupting you. And PKT Nambiar, I know you have several points to make as well, but I am completely out of time. Like I said at the very outset, the question here is not what is happening. What is happening is legal. It's been ordered by the government. The question is why? And is this really the manner in which we should be treating those who are our cultural heritage? Several of you joined us on NDTV today to share your stories. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm afraid that's all the time we have.